If I heard this in an interview, it's probably a no from me. Number one, going into any interview, especially into a dispensary to try to get a job, and being a know-it-all, probably not gonna get hired. Just gonna let you know, none of us really care for know-it-alls. We like to know that you are, moldable, right? We don't want you to think that you know everything, because then you're gonna be hard to teach. You're gonna be hard to get onto our program. You're gonna be hard to most likely deal with. And that may not even be the case. That's the messed up part about it. I do understand that maybe that is not the case. Maybe you will be receptive to the information and the ways that we do things, but it's a red flag nonetheless. It doesn't really matter if that's the truth or not. The reality is most cases, know-it-alls are going to be flagged for being hard to work with. I want to teach you my way or the highway. I don't care about everybody else's way that you've been taught. So being a know-it-all is not the best way to approach trying to get a job at a dispensary. Just saying, that's a red flag that will probably get you flagged, and you probably won't get the job. One way though, I will give you the tip on how to still be a know-it-all, but not know it all and be looked at differently. So by just simply wording the know-it-all nonsense into what you actively spend your own money on and saying that I know a lot about the products that I spend my own money on is a different context, right? Like, that's a different conversation. That to me is somebody who understands that they do know a lot about certain things, but don't know everything. And that's someone that I can teach. That's someone that is understanding that they want to just be a part of the team. They want to learn, but they got something to offer. That's the difference. So just saying, don't be a know-it-all. Just be a know-it-all in what you actually spend your money on. That's tip number one for red flag number one. Red flag number two. And this goes for anybody, because this really is just kind of across the board. Being flexible is important, okay? It's important. Sometimes you got to earn your seniority and earn your scheduling rights by being flexible, excuse me, and being willing to be a team member, all right? Working in retail, which ultimately working in a dispensary and being a budtender is just retail with cool products that you sell. Yeah. I might need you on weekends, player. I might need you for nights. I might need you to do that for a long time, because we run a small crew, and that's a lot of most dispensaries, unless you're at a big corporate spot. But even then, you're gonna earn your stripes, and you're gonna probably have to be more flexible than you maybe intended. So, red flag is definitely don't go in there talking all this, well, I need this type of schedule and I want that kind of schedule and blah, blah. It's one thing to say, hey, I would like and have preferences, but to sit there and ultimately give, that to be the ultimate, like it's either this or I'm walking, well, goodbye. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're all gonna say. That's a huge red flag. Most of the time, you're probably not even gonna get considered if you're not willing to be flexible with the schedule, because you just never know what's gonna happen and what could happen in this world, right? People might decide to leave, people get sick, all sorts of things. You got to be flexible. Flexible is important. Most dispensaries are open every day, all day, 365 days. You know what I'm saying? Like, my dispensary only closes 2 days out of the year, which is Thanksgiving and Christmas Day. We are open on the eves and the days after those days. So there's 2 days out of 365 days that we actively close for the whole day. Otherwise, we are open for majority of every day, all day, 363 days. You dig what I'm saying? Anyways, so that's red flag number two. And the tip to that is just be flexible. Be willing to take what they give you, because if you earn your stripes and you become that guy or that lady, hey, you're gonna get preferences sometimes. You're gonna get the schedule you want. I bet you if they like you and they want to keep you, they're gonna work with you. So, but you gotta earn that. You know what I mean? You gotta earn that. That's not something that's just given to anybody. So be flexible, and it's gonna work in your favor more often than not. So flag number three, and this one is really ultimately mainly for budtenders, and really it's before you even get to the interview place or point or portion. Yeah, get a badge first. All right, especially in Colorado, just get the badge first, go through the process, pay the money to get this little, you know, green badge thing, because ultimately without it, you can't be hired anyway. And even if somebody entertained trying to give you an interview without it, they can't do anything past that. And really, they shouldn't even be giving you an interview without it. At least you having paperwork showing that you've applied and are actively in the process of getting it. So yeah, for any of you guys who want to be bud tenders, you want to be taken seriously when you walk into these spots, please take the time to go fill out the application to get the employee badge so that you can even actively work in these places legally. Again, this is primarily for Colorado and any of the states that actually do the employee badges, because there are a handful of states that's not a real requirement, but there are a bunch of states that do require you to have an employee badge, which you got to get fingerprinted and all sorts of shit, pay your fees and stuff. Get that done. Just be in the process at least be in the process. So when you go and hand out an application or hand in applications or resumes, whatever, you have that to show that you actively are like trying, you're serious, and you should be taken serious at that point. Like, that's what that says to any GM, any hiring manager. You're serious because you actively went and spent money on something that ultimately isn't going to pay for itself until you do get a job, but you can't get a job without it. So it's one of those things where you kind of have to spend a little bit of money to potentially make some money and have a dope job. You know, not every dispensary is going to be the greatest place to work, but when you do find those little gems, those little diamonds in the rough, when you know, find your home, being a dispensary worker in any capacity, whether it's Budtender up to GMs or whatever, can be super rewarding. It can be super fun. It could be dope. And you know, it's a fun place. It's a fun vibe, my guy, you know, or lady, whatever. But get that badge, okay? Make sure you have that badge, because if you don't have that badge, I can't hire you anyway, and I ain't even gonna give you an interview. And I'm not even gonna probably call you for an interview if you don't have that badge, okay? So that's 3 tips from Jacob. Yeah, you know, we just be getting baked, you know what I'm saying? Just baked with Jacob. That was 3 red flags with tips, actually, on what you should avoid doing and what you should do to give yourself better opportunities and chances to be seen in these interviews or these situations, to potentially get interviews, to get into the industry. If you have any other questions, or you want to know any other things, or hash out any other things, or maybe you got other red flags because you've interviewed or been in interviews and noticed that you did something wrong, or again, you've been in my position and had to interview people, because I know there's other red flags, there's other things that, you know, I could probably break down and talk about, but those are my 3 main things that I see happen a lot. So yeah, let me know what you thought about that down in the comments below. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.